Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks. And just yesterday I made a video on how to do this with 3D engraving. And I kind of messed it up a little bit, so I had to run over the entire board. And I'll show you why. But if you look at it close up, the 3D engraving, where the light versus the dark, which is this right here. So you've got the dark on the edges and the light. And my original plan was to do this right here. After I engrave something like this in 3D mode, and I don't know if all lasers have 3D mode, but my Upalog has a 3D mode. I don't know exactly what it does. But then when I'm through engraving it, and I'll do like 3 passes, one at 40 speed, 100 power, one at 60, and then one at 70. And it kind of cleans it up, and then I would sand it off and put it back in the laser. But then I would run this, a gray fill, just over the whole thing. Well, I kind of messed up and I moved it when I was out lasering it. So I just ran over the entire board, as you can see. There's the actual color of the board. It came out really pretty cool, but normally I would just engrave over the mark. And the way I did that, because this is a bitmap, or a, yes, well, you can see all the parts. If you didn't watch I believe it was part 4, I showed how to do that. But anyway, what I would normally do is Control G to group that together. And you can see it's a bitmap if we put a yellow box around it. And if we go to Object, Order, back a page, you can't really see it, but there is a box back there. And if you move it, let me get rid of that rectangle. If you move it, you can kind of see the bit mapping part and even my 2 boxes. So once that is in place, what I would do is go ahead and convert it to a bitmap again, which it really already is. I'm going to do it in grayscale and say OK. And then I'm going to make a duplicate of it and move it over. And this is the only way to do it. And then I'm going to trace the bitmap, outline, trace, clip art, which I use 99% of the time. Takes just a second, it works pretty well. And what that did, that enabled me to take it apart. Now, it might even engrave pretty unique, but it's just a bunch of different colors. So what we need to do now is put a rectangle around it. And you notice I have not moved, I've only nudged. So I'm going to take my Smart Fill tool and I'm going to fill this in with I'm going to go ahead and fill it in with the yellow so you can see it. Whoop, I don't have that box all the way to the top. That's good enough. And then take the Smart Fill tool and fill that in. And what that does, it fills that in. And then go ahead and fill that in and that in and that in. And what that's going to do, and then if we nudge that over, and this over, and this over, and this over, then you can take your Smart Fill tool and set it on a gray, a light gray, and fill that in. And then when you're through engraving the other part, that part will fit right on top. And of course you want to move this out of the way first. And I'm pretty sure we got it grouped together, but we'll move it out of the way. And then put this right back. You know, you don't even have to move the board, just move the stuff. And that will engrave. And what it does, or I believe it does, these points are really sharp. The pictures don't do it any justice. But what it does do, it kind of takes the sharpness out. It doesn't affect the 3D because it's still engraving the depth, and so the high and the low. So it just kind of cleans it up. Anyway, hope that made a little bit of sense, and thank you for watching.